other tracks, it takes two to tango. So someone has to agree to any level of talk before a talk can take place. At the moment, India is doggedly disagreeing because I believe they find it convenient to use for them to have a justification to not talk and then unilaterally act, whether it was in 2019, the unilateral changes that they took within the Kashmir context or in the Indus Water Treaty. But obviously we will continue to pursue that path, and we would be very keen at any level and at any way this conversation would start. I believe that a minimal improvement should be that at the moment we have DGMO to DGMO talks as far as the ceasefire implementation is concerned. The minimal elevation of that talks would be an NSA to NSA level talk, and then sort of develop it forward towards a comprehensive dialogue. As far as domestic politics, absolutely it's driven this. The only variable that has changed throughout this scenario is the domestic politics of India and the ruling government of India. Never before was water used as a weapon. Never before Anyway, as far as their domestic politics is concerned, I also don't want to comment on it beyond the reasonable. I can comment on it from my concerns, but ultimately that's a decision that the Indian public has to make. It's a decision that the Indian public has made, and we in Pakistan have to deal with this reality. And the reality is that you have a new government in India, that's a Hindutva government in India, that seeks inspiration not from the Gandhian secular India, but by the RSS assassin that assassinated Gandhi. They have a completely different approach to how India should work, how the region should work. They're ideologically committed to the idea of Akhand Bharat, which means that a greater India, an imaginary India that never existed as a single entity, that exists in the minds of these Hindu extremists. And they want to impose that view of the world on the entire region. And it encompasses Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. So I'm sure people are watching what's happened with the only nuclear armed neighbor with trepidation. But this map of the greater India and other countries in the world have similar aspirations. This map of Akhand Bharat is on the walls of the Indian Parliament. So they've painted what they'd like to see in the region. And they use the tool that they use to achieve this. They use the wolf whistle of terrorism to demonize the Muslims in India, the Muslims in Indian occupied Kashmir, and now, by extension, the Muslims in Pakistan. And Europe knows all too well what happens when you normalize the dehumanization of a specific community anywhere in the world. They've done it. You've witnessed this in the past. They're doing it before our eyes. Obviously, that has consequences. But we're saying we're willing to have dialogue with the devil in the interest of peace. We believe that India is not in its own, whatever its aspirations are, whatever its ideology is, the decisions that their leadership has made has left both sides less secure. It is not in the interest of India that we leave our fates in the hands of non-state actors and terrorists. On the one hand, every time talks have been derailed, they've been derailed because of a terrorist act. So even in those circumstances, we, the leaders of India and Pakistan, are not deciding the fate of our people. We're leaving it to the terrorists to decide that we're talking, so they'll go into an attack and we sabotage the talk. Now we're saying that the decision to go to war will not be taken by Modi or Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif. The decision to go to war between two nuclear arms nations will also be taken by nameless, faceless terrorists who decide to attack at will. This entire corner that Modi is painting his country and our region into is not in our mutual interest. To say that we have fought generation after generation over Kashmir and we will continue to fight. We will never talk. To say that we fought then after that consistently over the issue of terrorism, but still we're not to talk or to investigate. And then to add to that a new fault line and say that now we damn the future generations of Pakistan and India to fight over water. That may be a fate that Modi is willing to damn his own citizens to. It's not a fate that I want to damn my citizens to. And we hold no ill will to the people of India. We would not want to damn them to this fate either. It will be a compulsion we all have to talk to one another eventually to address these issues. With the developments in our neighborhood over the last 24 hours, one border with Afghanistan was already, we're dealing with those consequences. Another border with India is a nuclear fault line, and our border with Iran is now under stress, to say lightly. In that context, there's a false sense of calm that has prevailed that now that we've received a ceasefire, it must mean that we've achieved a peace. We're further than that peace than we should be. And I believe that the European Union is very well placed to make the case for the respect for international law, to make the case for the non-weaponization of water, and to continue to make the case that dialogue and diplomacy is the only path to peace.